Alright, y'all ready to rock?
Yes, sir.
Alright, what's going on, y'all? We are here with another episode of The Corner, and this is episode 35. And this episode is called High Class. So this episode, what we're going to be doing is talking about different financial classes. You got your lower class, you got your upper middle class, and you got your rich, which would be, since the high class. So we just want to talk about those different ones and just kind of dig into it because, a lot of people feel like if you're at a certain status, you shouldn't be having any issues financially. That's not always the case. So that's the topic we're going to get into today. We hope y'all enjoy it. We hope y'all, make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. And if y'all have any topics or anything y'all want us to, get into, just let us know. But with that being said, as we always do, I'm K1 and this is
Mac and Olivia.
And we are The Corner. As you see, we missed some guests tonight, but it's all good. We're going to keep pushing through. All right, so let's jump into it. High class.
The top 1%. Top 1%.
And we know what, while we get into it, I'm going to go ahead and pull up the article, I think, well, not the article, but the post I posted on Facebook about, just those different classes. Because in that post, and I probably get into bigger detail when I bring it up, it was pretty much like, the upper middle class is struggling. And for that reason, because they don't have all these supports that the lower class has.
Yeah.
And what kills me is, if this is supposed to be lower class, and I'm not sleeping on lower class, no, that's not what I'm saying. It's just, I see that y'all have more support than we do as far as, people in the middle class, because unfortunately I would be considered upper middle class, but my bank account says otherwise.
Word.
But, with lower middle class, I'm not lower middle class, but with lower class, they generally have more support, more governmental assistance and everything like that or whatever, to where, they're not struggling. And then you got your high class that are the rich, and they're not worried about a dollar. They wipe their ass with a dollar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's just for me, that's just the differences in them. And like I said, we'll jump into it, and I'll try to look at the post to give more clarity on the subject. So I'll go ahead.
Man, I find it interesting that I guess to be considered high class, or at least be considered within the top 10% of the income earner, I think at minimum you have to hit at least 100,000 yearly to even be considered in the top 10%. And you gotta think about it: 7 billion people on the planet. Only 10% of that will see that. It kind of, I don't know if it breeds a problem of the money system that's going on, or is it that people don't want it? That this isn't candy.
Lily said she wants chocolate. Yo.
Right. And hopefully she won't be too much of a distraction. But your dad your parent 24/7. So hey, you gotta roll with the punches. But I'm not sure if that's, like I said, I'm not sure if it's because of there's a flawed system when it comes to finances and people earning their wealth, or is it due to the fact that there's people out there that just don't want that type of success or finances. But that still gives me hope, because since it's only a 10%, that means it's still plenty money on the table to get. But I find it very disheartening that we've come to where it's pretty much classism, and high class, middle class, lower class. And then I'm sure we're seeing it in the future, or seeing it in real time right now, that that's probably going to be done away. Now it's going to be categorized as in the haves and the have-nots. Reason is because now I personally don't believe that your status is solidified through paper money. A lot of it is coming through assets now. Some shit that you can pass down to your descendants, your great 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 grandkids, after long after you pass over, and you know we see it on the news, or at least I try to keep up with the news like Bloomberg and other outlets like that. I see a lot of banks that's actively buying like millions and millions of dollars worth of gold, silver, and then now adapting to the cryptocurrency world. And it's like, man, once upon a time, their status was validated through paper money, but now that's not it. That's not it anymore, and it just kind of makes me wonder, what's really going on with that, and what does that do with all of the classes, because it's not just hurting the lower class. The lower class might get the brunt of it, might get the short end of the stick, but everybody's pretty much getting hit by this, this quote unquote wealth transfer that's going on, and I just kind of find it interesting, with what's happening with people's finances and what's categorized as high and what's categorized as low. Me personally, I don't think any of that exists. I think it's just simply with, like I said earlier, with haves and have-nots. Because you could be a lower class citizen, but you don't
really have a need.
Yeah, exactly. You do have assets where where your generations can still thrive.
You're comfortable.
Yeah, you're comfortable, and once you pass away, you won't necessarily have to worry about the rest of your generation, scratching for pennies and quarters, to keep afloat.
Right.
I think that could be with any class, whatever you identify as in the financial, in this financial realm. So it's a pretty interesting feat, man. I personally don't know what I would have considered growing up. I just know that my mom and dad did well enough to make sure we wasn't out in the streets. Low, whether it was low class or middle, upper. I mean, they had some pretty decent jobs too. So it wasn't like they were working minimum wage or anything like that. And, pops had plenty jobs, and mom worked at the job for 20 plus years. So through seniority, she was granted an increased salary. So we were good. I don't think I would necessarily know offhand where we would have categorized ourselves as, through today's, societal norms. I would say maybe if I was to guess, maybe middle class. If anything, just maybe like a couple extra notches up, maybe.
Right. I don't ever consider myself upper.
Yeah.
I mean, I would consider it upper middle class. Just based off of the outside perspective of like the house and everything. Like,
Yeah.
especially, when we're kids, I don't think we really appreciate it as much as like when you're in a nice house. You're just like, oh, this is a nice house. You know what I'm saying? Cool. And then like you grow up and then you look back and it's just like, dang. It's really holding down a nice house.
It was holding it, yeah.
You start realizing a little bit like more how, I don't know, like for some people it's difficult it is to really, especially in this market now, like present times, to hold down a house like that is miraculous almost, like, especially if you're on your own or, have it to where you don't have multiple incomes and all that stuff like that. It's getting tougher almost on a single person out here to really maintain a lower middle class household, let alone a higher middle class household. And as far as saying like the classes and all that aren't really a thing, true and sort of a differing perspective on that, whereas like it's, if you step back and look at it all, like you've got your ghetto projects, trailer parks, all that stuff, and then couple hop, jump and a skip over across town and city blocks as people's houses and properties and stuff like that. And it's just, so there's levels in my perspective. But like, and then honestly, you can see the transition between classes and stuff like that, as far as like your suburbans with like, you know, 0.3, 0.5 of an acre, and, you know, nice little 3-bedroom, 2-bath house and stuff like that. And then, you know, so there's a, to me, a lower, middle, upper. And then, like, as far as when it comes to the workforce and economics and everything like that, I feel like the upper middle class is having a real hard time, because that's probably the worst bracket tax-wise to be in, is upper middle class, because you make enough to more or less, as long as, you know, you have some sort of financial mind about you make enough to make ends meet, but like a couple rainy days and that buffer is kind of gone.
Yeah.
And then as far as like when you do start scratching those 6 digits, because I know a few people that like they make 6 digits, but like at the end of the week their check really isn't that much bigger, because they're only scratching the beginning of the tax bracket, so they're still getting charged, you know, more because you're making more, but not enough to really make that big of a difference overall in the grand scheme of things. And so like 100K, you probably getting 4 or 5, and that's just lowballing it, 400 or 500 a week off the check. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just going straight to tax. That's Fed. You're not talking about state. You're not talking about benefit. You're not talking about none of that.
Yeah.
And so like, I understand where the upper middle class is definitely having an issue, because like, hell, like upper middle class, you still talking about like, you know, corner shop owners and, you know, things like of that nature. So if like, if the industry or whatever niche that their market or shop or whatever is being affected economically, like overall in the grand scheme of things, their pockets hurting now too. And so like like I said, the upper middle class is probably one of the most difficult classes to be in right now, especially with the market and inflation and everything that's going on, because you still getting taxed, you still getting hit with all that coming out of the check, but prices still steadily raising. I mean, thankfully there's a couple companies like even mine that were forward enough and I guess decent enough to give a cost of living adjustment to the wages and stuff like that, which is cool, greatly appreciated. But like, even still, it doesn't quite close the gap as far as like you talking about the truck I most recently bought for $7K, and honestly was a bargain, a steal for the truck that it is, because like I'm literally seeing almost the identical truck, maybe different color, couple different trim, you know, things and all that, going for twice as much as what I paid for it. So it's just like, middle class is tough these days, you know, because like I said, a couple rainy days and your little nest egg, your little buffer, your little getaway fund is hit, and then you that close to paycheck, you know what I'm saying? And so, you know, I feel like as far as people not really, and then another issue as far as people not having stuff to like, you know, pass on to descendants and whatnot, is a lot of people they have the ability to get the money, but not as many people know what to do with it when they get it, especially if they're used to not having so much, and then all of a sudden they get a swell. They start, you know, oh, well, let me go to TJ Maxx, or oh, let me go to Target, or oh, let me, you know, hit Amazon, or you know what I'm saying?
No, I'm shopping at Target.
Yeah, exactly. So like, you know, and then like before you know it, it's just these little tiny things that start to really add up. You know, you get to the end of the year and you start looking at, you know, what you grossed and what you know brought in, and then looking at like these receipts from Walmart, Target, Amazon, blah blah blah, and like you look at the chunk of the spending that you were doing went up. But you kind of didn't really come out on top like you might have thought you would with that raise, because your spending, you know, kind of started going all over the place. Because like a lot of people, like especially like if you see before they get a big raise at work or whatever, they get used to living that little system where it's like, all right, I get this a week, I get this a week, get this a week, and you know, hopefully try to save, have enough at the end of the week to try to save something. But and then they get that $3-4 raise, and they're like, pay 3 times 40, that's $100. Oh, that's an extra $120. You know what I'm saying? And so, and then just that is enough to cause people like, oh, well, let me go ahead and start eating out a little bit. And then, you know what I'm saying? Start to loosen the belt up, and then before you know it, you back to square one, because like you got the swell of, you know, more income coming in, but you also almost unconsciously sort of shit it down the drain. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because it happens. It's very easy. Like, it's crazy. It took me having to really break down with like how many hours of my life am I spending on that right now? Like,
Yeah.
like let's say you make 14.
I like that. That's
Yeah,
deep. I like
you know what I'm
that.
saying? Like you make $14 an hour and it's a pair of shoes for $40. I gotta work almost 3 hours to get that pair of shoes. Is that pair of shoes really worth that much to me right now? You feel me? It's like, you know how I was saying, like, oh, I'm gonna get a system, and I was like, boy, that's about that's about 20 hours worth of stuff. And so it took me really having to sit down and break stuff down and get that into it before I started realizing, like, you know, that little stop the checkers on the way home, that little, you know, whatever. It's like, I'm telling you, bro, even at the end of a week, let's say you stop to get something to eat every day, Monday through Friday, $10 a meal. That's $50 a week. And remember, you're only getting 120 extra a week now.
Yeah.
So like that's almost half of that just on fast food. And then you also, well, you know what? Let me go ahead and stop at Dollar General before I go home. You know what I'm saying? $30, $40 right there. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's two or three times a week on that, and that's your extra 120 gone, and you don't even know it.
You don't even
think about it. You don't even think about that.
Wow.
And so it took that for me to like, okay, I don't even have a debit card.
Right.
You got an extra 20 to the. That's I want to work now.
Are you worth that time?
Right,
That's
you know what I'm
it is.
saying? Like,
Time
do you
system.
need it? Because like, this is, you know, that's a big chunk of my day.
What's that? Champagne taste and malt liquor budget.
Yeah, I'm telling you, boy, for a good few months there, I was broke.
Man.
But you needed something that you'd had to been a life or death emergency.
Hey,
Bro.
yeah.
I had to keep telephone. Hey, bro, I ain't got it. Meantime, I'm over there.
Yeah.
You're safe. All right.
You safe.
You cool. Matter of fact, if I could cut the card up, I would. I promise.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like, I'm telling you, bro.
Yeah. I've had to strengthen my word no a lot.
I'm telling you, bro.
This-
Like, it's real.
Like, this past couple months, I've had to. I was like, look, dog.
I uninstall Amazon, boy.
Yeah,
Like,
oh, man, dude.
yeah.
So you understand?
Uninstall that. Boy, that tax check hit. I was like,
That's
nope.
good.
Nope.
That's good. Last week, I uninstalled DoorDash,
There you
too.
go.
Man.
Bruh, DoorDash. I'm telling you, before I had that little talk with myself, I was keeping them afloat, boy.
Oh, man.
I was giving them drivers bonuses.
Yeah, them stocks was rising.
Mhm.
Ordering food. Man, that is the devil.
You ever mess around and got the same dasher twice?
Like, yeah, I have had the same dasher twice before.
Hey, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's up, Brian? And spending the same amount of tip, too.
Mhm.
Like, I ain't got it, bro.
I mean, we a little deeper in the week now.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
I know I was cool on payday. Yeah,
Right,
I was.
yeah, that was payday.
I was, but you know,
Yeah,
been about 3-4 days now.
I'm what they call a bi-weekly warrior.
Oh, boy.
Bi-weekly
That's
warrior.
tough, boy. That's
I mean, that's the phrase
it's
you
tough.
use for
Yeah,
sure.
it's tough, man.
Boy.
Because I mean, just going into that, man, like, you know, I've always used the phrase, the more you make, the more they take. And a lot of y'all know that well.
Yeah.
A lot of y'all know that well.
For sure.
Yes, we
And,
do.
you know, with that being said, it's just like, you know, we like grinding at our jobs. I feel like a lot of people, once they're good at something they're doing, they love grinding at their job. Right? But with that comes, okay, I'm doing all this grinding. Am I going to be getting more compensation for it? And like you said before, you get that compensation, but people got to realize too, you got to live within your means. Because just because you got that little extra 100, don't mean you need, oh yeah, you know, I got this thing I've been looking at for a while, I'm going to get it, whatever.
Riches.
Riches. Because you got to be smart about your money. Just like going back to what you said about, like, you know, I might spend $5 here, $10 there, but all of it adds up. Like, I know for me, myself, whatever, like, during the week, I try to, like, prep breakfast or something like that, and get some cost-efficient meals for lunch through the week, because, like you said, that car be itching. And it's like, man, but, you know, this right here, it's right there in your face, it's ready.
Right there.
It's ready, just, all you got to do is swipe, you know what I mean?
Good.
You know,
It
so.
look good, too.
Look real good. But, I mean, at the end of the day, whatever, like, just... It's just funny to me because it's just like, you know, I'll have people like, oh man, you making such and such, you should be doing well, blah blah blah. Like, it's
Right.
ways to look at it. Like,
Right.
yeah, I'm doing well on this side, but then on the other side, it's a little bit of a struggle.
Yeah.
And you know, what I've learned recently, and this is combating between upper middle class and lower class, that 2 incomes is a myth. I just learned that.
Yeah.
That 2 incomes is a myth. And
I
say that.
elaborate on that.
Oh, I'm about to.
Okay,
I'm about to.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay. Nah, that's my first time hearing that.
Right, no, because like, in the beginning of it, I was like, oh yeah, it was great to have two incomes, which is still is great to have two incomes because anything and everything can happen.
Right.
But what I've been learning more of, but what I've been learning more of is if you got a single woman with a bunch of kids, and she's single, she's by herself, but she's making a lot more, she's getting more assistance.
Right.
Whereas me and this person, me and my spouse, oh, I'm doing good, you're doing well as hell, but them taxes looking short.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's ways to look at it. And what I've learned is too, like most time, if you are in a marriage or whatever, sometimes it's maybe best that y'all file separate.
Right.
Just for that reason, because if this income,
yeah.
because if this income and that income come in, it's like, oh, y'all making too much. What you mean?
Like I
You
said,
struggling?
because
struggling.
you just right there on the side of that bracket.
You in that bracket? Oh, you just tipped over 100,000, but we don't see that.
We don't see.
You know what I mean?
See, here's a good somebody. I can't remember who broke it down for me. All right, so let's say you go from 45 grand a year to 60 grand a year.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds great. 15,000 a year, and off the rip, it sounds all right. But once you start looking at like, all right, so that 60 grand is like right there on the edge of the next bracket.
Yeah.
And so like, if you do that, cool, that's great. But once you bump up to 65, 66, 67, just on the other side of that bracket, and you getting taxed like people that are getting taxed for 100K a year. You feel me? So that's why that raise doesn't. I'm telling you, bro.
It's like anything. It's a game. You gotta know how to maneuver it because if not, you're gonna be sitting there looking crazy with all your chips gone. So that's how I feel about it being a myth because in the grand scheme of things, it's good because if I'm not having enough, you might have some, but it's just that fact of they might have some because they're about on your level, and if y'all at the same level, it's gonna be hard on you.
Okay.
So that's for me personally, just from what I've learned, I feel like it's a myth, and like I just. Like I feel like too, like government assistance is there, so even some upper middle class people can get it, but it's not as much.
Not as readily available,
Yeah, so you just gotta find your way to maneuver and to make it happen out of the situation, whether or not because like me and my wife had a discussion all the time. Sometimes she'll be like, "Oh, I need to be making more," blah blah blah, and in the back of my head, I'm like, just. Calm down just a little bit. Just a little bit. I'm not, it's not like I'm trying to tell her I need you to make less, but it's just like the more you make, the less we get. But the less you get, the more assistance we can get, and we're not struggling because it's just like when you're in that bracket, it leaves a bad taste in my mouth when somebody's like, "Oh yeah, you're upper middle class." I'm like, I don't see it. Like I don't feel.
It might
like
look that way, but
that's just a title at the end of the day. But I'm not saying that.
What a wicked. Now I think about it, what a wicked game to be a part of, man. Because it's like, because like you said, the less we make, the more assistance we're gonna get. The powers that be is banking on you to make less so that you can be more dependent on their assistance.
Yeah, for sure.
Man, that is wicked, bro. And I just can't understand it. And I don't know. It's like you make more, now you feel more, I don't know, liberated or more independent or just not as dependent on assistance. And now because of that, we gonna take about 25% of your shit. Run them things.
Right.
Because wow,
bro. For most of us, we can't speak on the rich because I've never been rich.
But I can imagine.
Around,
right. So expound on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I have too. I can say.
Okay, so I guess I have been, I don't want to call it fortunate, but my experience has been in multiple walks of life, from very high to upper middle to.
All right, sit down.
Woo!
He said, "Woo." That ain't even phrase for us.
Right, like it's But so I will say that being around, I guess upper middle to high class, it creates a bubble to me, security.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, it's not that I hate on or a little bit envious, but at the same time, I don't feel like if you're that secure, I don't really feel like you're experiencing life.
No, because they make enough.
Because like, and this can be broken down as easy as like, all right, so let's say your boss, the owner of the company or whatever, walks up to you and he starts talking about, man, it's been crazy lately, blah blah blah, and like in the back of your head, like you living like, who you telling? You feel me? And then they'll say something like, I don't know. All right, okay, I'll take one. Not gonna say any names, but I had a person come to me and talk about his son hit a deer or something, and it like more or less totaled the truck, but it didn't really total the truck, but like they wrote it off as total and everything, right? And he was talking about, man, I've been running around trying to find this other truck, blah, 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 this, that, and the third, and all right, cool. And then, you know, I came around some car trouble and blah, 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 this, that, and the third, and it had been a couple weeks waiting on parts and all that stuff. And he was like, man, you know, just thought about just getting out there and get you another one, blah, 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 this, that, and the third. And I was just like, hey, I would love to, yeah. You know, but, you know, you're a single man, run at the time, solo, running a whole household. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, you literally signed my check. So, like, you know what I'm saying? You see what I'm making, and I'm running a household by myself in this economy.
Yeah.
The buffer for a whole new car isn't always there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so, that just another, you know, bold example of how, like, when you're used to living at such a level that, like, major things for somebody else is just like, man, that's crazy, man. I can't believe it took me that long to actually find a truck. You know, the truck he finally bought was like 10, 15 grand. It's just like, it'd be nice if I could just, you know, on a whim be like, yeah, I guess I'll go get another 15 grand truck for my son. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that be that. But for a lower class, you know, looking up, it's almost, I don't want to say infuriating, but it's kind of, it grinds your gears a little bit when, like, that's what was major to you. Like, that was what was major to you, but, like, literally that 15K could have changed my life.
Probably.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
the word for the day is credit is king.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, we can definitely touch on that. Yeah. But, like, all right, so another example of, like, growing, you know, not growing up around, but, like, being around, you know, higher class is, like, the air of, it's not entitlement, but, like, it's something. It's pretty. It's right there. But, and it's just like, I had the opportunity. I had it all in my hands. If I had stayed put and did what I was supposed to do, could have been. It's be a crazy story right now. Mm-hmm. But you know, I chose not to because, like, the personality that comes over somebody that's, like, really absorbed in the fact that they're secure and established and everything is just, I'm not, it doesn't rub me right, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't, like, I'm not saying I can't be around them, but, like, it's not my crowd, it's not my cup of tea.
Yeah, no.
Because, like, and it doesn't even have to settle a class, it can go across different categories, where as far as, like, when you see a really devout Christian or something like that, and you know, some wild example of, you know, worldly stuff is happening, and their mind's completely blown because, like, a devout Christian is following almost blindly the word that they're reading, and so they're not experiencing the world around them. And it's just wild to me that, like, a poorer person can sit there and, you know, look up and be like, wow, you got all that, and you know that your small time thing is, like, literally my pivotal life moment for me. You know what I'm saying? And then you know, it's strange to me that looking down, you can't see where, like, wow, like, that little moment for me was, like, you know, a life-changing event for somebody else. You know what I'm saying? And it's just wild to me, and that's why I'm more or less separated from stuff like that, because it's the same thing with corporations and things like that. Once numbers and, you know, quantity and all that stuff come into play, it seems like a different mindset takes over some people, and it's just like, that's what you are. You're that number that you can produce. You're that, you know what I'm saying? How much money can you make me, and then how much can I get away with not paying you? Like, you feel me? Like, and it's like, that's why I've stayed away from. I've tried to from major corporations because it rubs me wrong. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I'm sorry. I was just gonna say, you know, because not to get too spiritual, but, you know, the word says, you know, don't conform to, you know, worldly things, you know, things like that. So, I mean, it just kind of brings that back to what, you know, what you say with certain things you would not conform to, like, you know, the corporate world, you know, for you know, by and large, the corporate world because of the games that they play. So I mean, that's just one thing about it. So that's one example of that. So yeah, that was all I was going to mention.
Good, man. No, I was going to expound on that because there was a company I used to work for, and you know, I was there for almost 7 years.
Okay.
And when I came in, you know, they were a small company at the time. And what changed is another company bought them out, and things started to change dynamically, financially, just all around. Because when I came in, a lot of people that had probably been there for 12, 13 years, they was making about $13 an hour.
Okay.
Now here I am.
At the end of 12, 13 years, they make it $12, $13 an hour?
Give or take, yeah.
Oh.
Give or take. So that just let me know that whenever y'all started, y'all was making way less than whatever you making now. So, and I say that to follow up with, I came in as a temp making probably about $10 an hour, right?
Yeah.
So then when I finally got on, you know, I was making like close to 15. Granted, some of the people still in that 13 spot. Now eventually we all were at the same pay rate, but you know, they were just like, man, like, how are you just coming in and now you making such and such or whatever? And I'm just like, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, that's what the company offered me, that's what I took.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
But what was funny is how the dynamic changed. When they were making $13 an hour, their bonuses were bigger.
Oh, okay.
You know, so they would be getting good bonuses.
Oh, yeah, it'll even out somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, they would be getting good bonuses every year, and I'm talking about these bonuses were upward of $1,500 or more for the bonuses. Yeah, no, just
Yeah.
so. But then when the other company came and bought them or whatever, the pay rate went up. You know, so we were making probably about $16, $17 an hour, but the bonuses were like $200, $300. You see how that dynamic just shifted, but because they were a bigger company, they had more love to spread around. Versus when the company was smaller, you know, they only had this segment of people where
so we got a swell amount here that we can pay that.
Right, but so they would be giving you less, but the bonuses would be looking good. And you know, like I said, you know, at some point, however long these people work for that company, they built that relationship with their company where like, I love working for this company, I love what they do for me, blah blah blah. Because you know, at that time, whenever they were making 13, it made sense at the time.
Yeah.
But just like everything, there's inflation. So, you know, like Anthony was saying, like, you know, there's a lot of companies that they're smaller, they're going to do what they can for their people to give you a cost of living raise and things of that nature. But these bigger companies are like, yeah, nah, we ain't got enough. we ain't got enough to just throw you more, like, you gonna run with this and get this insurance. And you know what I mean? That's how most of those bigger companies are. So, you know, I definitely get what he says when he says that, because, like I said, the bigger, almost just like with money, the more you make, the more they take. The bigger corporation, you know, bigger the corporation, the less they care. I feel like, you know,
the more they take from you, almost.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because like a corporation will expect you to put your life down for them. You know what I'm saying? And it's just
like, you want to use your time off.
You gave it to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's, can't do it. Like, can't do it, man. Because like, at least, I mean, don't get me wrong, and there's definitely pros and cons to each side for sure. But at least with, you know, most of the jobs I've had, they're way more flexible as far as like, if you got issues, and like, okay, cool, we can try to work around that, blah blah blah. If you need a couple days, there you go. You know what I'm saying? Corporation be like, are you sure? Because like, you get 2 or 3 days outside of, you know, PTO and all that stuff. And I don't know. Now you might not have a job in a couple more days. And so it's just like, to me, that like, let's say I worked a whole year, and we'll take one of the companies I work for. Whole year record break, just like, you know, things that have never been done before, just complete, just you've been here how long and you already in that type stuff. And then like, if I got some sort of like, let's say car trouble or something like that, I'm getting written up, I'm getting a point, I'm getting all that. You know, I'm just like, so I did all of that, made y'all technically way more money than, you know, a lot of other people did on this same machine, this same job and everything. But like, when it comes to me having issues, I'm just ass okay.
But come back tomorrow.
Right, you feel me? Like, yeah.
we need that.
Right, you know what I'm saying? And then like, and of course, and like I said, you give me too much of that, I can't do it. Like, you know what I'm saying? I tell them straight up, I'm gonna walk out.
Yeah.
I'll do it. They think you're bluffing. Like, oh no, we got you by the balls. We paid too much.
Man, they love that.
I'm telling you, boy, they think they got you. And okay, think I'm playing. And
they love it.
I sure enough will walk out.
There's just things money can't buy.
I'm telling you, bro, you can't. Like, I mean, like I said, when looking at your finances, you look at like, you know, how much I look at how much, you know, I make versus what I'm spending it on. Like
Yeah.
$15, that's almost an hour of work. You feel me? Like, and I try to keep any sort of miscellaneous stuff under $10. Okay, like, and that's how I've gone. But like, if you look at it, in the topic that we're talking about now, it's like a corporation is looking at the production and the quantity that they're getting off of you, and of course they're going to push you to keep doing more. They're going to, they want that. Good job. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
All right, now stay quiet about it. Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't ask for no more.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, it was just like, no. And I appreciate that. Like I said, there's pros and cons to both sides. I've had some valleys instead of hills at a couple of jobs, but at the same time, like, if you show off and like you actually do what you do and you go out there and earn it for real, you do get compensated. I've worked for this place for a year and a half. I've had almost four raises now.
Oh,
so like,
it's been a year and a half.
yeah.
Nice. Nice.
And so like, that's what I appreciate. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't necessarily need the pat on the back. I don't need the good job every day, blah, blah, blah. But like, if I'm showing you, like, you can trust me to go out there and get it done.
Yeah.
For, and get it done well enough to get, A, either good reviews, or B, just like, it shows that my work is, above average, then show me your appreciation. You know what I'm saying? Like,
run them funds up.
right.
Got you. I've had a couple of jobs that operated in that way. Like when I used to work for the call center, the AT&T. In addition to troubleshooting their problems, we will offer them, extensions or like bonuses for like DirecTV and AT&T, and kind of like a joint bill or something like that. And if they'll say yeah, I'll take it. That'd be like an extra $200 towards your check.
Right.
So if you can do about 10 of them, 10 of them in a day, you straight.
Right.
So yeah, definitely. I think my highest one was like maybe 8 in a day.
800.
No, eight sales off of that. So that'll be what, 1,600?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
okay.
yeah, yeah, man. Like, that was a good day. I remember that because I for sure spent some of that money that week. But it's right. When that check came, I for sure blew that.
Stop at TJ Maxx.
Yeah, right.
Run it up.
Yeah, stop at TJ Maxx. I was like, nah, I ain't going to Walmart today. I feel like going to Target.
Bring me Maxine.
Where's
Target, yeah, my bad. I'm sorry. Target. Yep. Yeah, I was in a high CD. Oh man, you couldn't tell me nothing.
I be feeling like a man when I walk
Hey,
through.
I'm telling you.
My favorite one of my, I guess, you go through, come ups and stuff throughout life and stuff like that, and Aloe Black put out that song, and you can tell everybody, and you can tell everybody.
Man.
Boy, that was my theme song, boy.
Man, another man.
Pick it up in the morning.
And then 3 weeks later, I need $1.
Flat tire. I need $1.
Oh, dude. Nah, you know what song hurt when you going through finances? Anthony Hamilton's Coming From Where I'm From.
Oh
Boy, when I say boy, that beat, the words,
Going through.
Oh Lord.
you in the rain,
Yeah. Gas on E.
I was hustling and you couldn't tell me nothing.
Oh
Your
my
friend
God.
in the hood trying to be somebody.
I'm telling you, that's real. That's real.
Dog.
Oh my God.
Oh, that hurt. I don't even turn up the volume. Then the volume just turn up by
No,
itself.
the higher it is, the more hurt it is.
Oh,
Like,
dude.
And you drive.
by the time you get home, you
Yep. And then that part was like, too scared to have kids. I'm like, damn. Damn. Oh, I'm like, man, you know what?
I'm telling you,
Felt.
boys. Well, I'll stay watching y'all. I'm just like, it ain't time.
It ain't time, brother. It's
Oh
not.
my God.
Oh boy, I
It ain't
got
time.
some good patience. I'm telling
Hey,
you, that is
yes,
it's
sir.
working out on you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I be trying to tell people, look, kids is cool, but if you can wait.
You pay how much for daycare?
Yeah.
Man, look here.
Nah.
We ain't gonna talk about that.
And now
we gonna talk about that.
because
man.
now it's translated to the babysitters, and
Yeah.
you almost paying daycare prices for
Almost,
babysitters.
yeah, I mean,
now. Definitely,
I
I'm
mean-
not, but
Right, but I mean, like you got to look at
It's
it like,
getting
as the way inflation goes, and prices of everything is getting higher. It's almost like it's necessary to pay them a little bit more.
I'm taking care of.
Especially if they gotta come to you.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm taking care of your kid.
Right. I mean,
So-
it's like a regular day job. You feel me? So
Yeah.
especially
I
if
mean-
you got a kid that's a handful. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna need some handful of prices. Like, you feel
Yes.
me?
I mean, it ain't off topic, but I mean, I just feel like, when it do come, since we're on daycare, when it do come to prices for it, I would rather pay that extra or pay,
For some-
enough to I know that my child is fine. I
Yeah.
don't want to give, regular Joe over here, hey, I'm gonna give you $13 a week. Cool with that?
Right.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, all right.
Next thing you know, your kid is on YouTube hanging off a ceiling.
Man.
Like, I just,
Right. Smoking
know,
weed.
Right. Now, granted, you got a lot of people out there you can trust and things of that nature, whatever.
Right.
But if I can put that extra oomph in, I know y'all have security. I know my child is gonna be something. Like all these other, all these other things is coming into play.
Right.
I'm gonna pay that extra.
Yeah.
Because
Let me get
8
a shout
hours out
out
a day. Go ahead.
Shout out to mom and dad for keeping me in the premium daycare, y'all, because I'm looking at these prices like,
Hey.
Boy.
kid to care, kids to kids, all that good stuff, boy. Thank you.
I'm just happy my mom and dad had really nice friends.
Oh yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, it wasn't always
Take a village.
Yeah.
wasn't always
Oh, yeah.
daycare. Like thankfully we had some good friends and everything
Yeah.
too. Like,
Right.
Because it for sure takes a village,
Yeah,
like
for sure.
Vincent said. I'm just glad that they were around.
for sure.
Sometimes my mom was able to finesse it and work for the daycare. That way she had
Man, oh,
like,
word. Oh,
she-
Yep.
oh, that's
Man.
sweet.
Yep.
That is sweet.
That's a lot of daycare workers. Like if they got kids, they're like, oh, this child daycare. What? Let me work there. Like, like
Y'all hiring?
right, facts. I don't feel them like that.
Yeah, I mean, but it works. But that just shows the level of what parents can do or will do for their children to make sure they can make ends meet.
Right.
meet
Yeah.
Because if they're not getting assisted, they gotta do what they do to maneuver. You know what I mean?
That is
Tell you,
rough.
I appreciate the hell out of my mom, boy, because I remember we be getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning, jump on Martin to go to the babysitter's house or the daycare, go to the daycare, and then she take the bus and jump on. Oh, no, I was in and
4
out.
in the morning?
Yeah, oh yeah, I've always been a more early riser, like straight up.
Okay.
Last to go down, first to stand up.
I got you. Got you.
All the time.
Got you.
But like I remember, like she'd be catching 2 buses and a train for our just one way, and then
Wow.
same routine in the evening.
Yeah, reverse
And
engineering.
like a machine, she did that. So like, whew, respect.
Boy,
Like
that's
I'm
wild.
telling you, man, because
Yes.
and because she was by herself,
Yeah.
like she had to do what she had to do, and damn, boy, like I look
Yeah.
back and thank you,
Oh yeah.
thank you.
Man, but just speaking of high class in general, man, like these gas prices is just.
Oh.
I've seen it, and the sad thing is I've seen it worse.
Oh yeah,
You know,
Yeah.
I've seen it
like
worse.
back in Katrina when it was like $11 a
Yeah.
gallon. and stuff, like,
Yeah.
folks was like pulling up. Let me get a quarter tank.
Yeah.
Like,
How much can hit him with a Chris Martin? How much can a quarter get me?
right,
Right.
I'm telling
You
you.
get one drop.
Right,
That's
that's
right.
one thing. I don't need the whole gallon. This is a drop.
That
Yeah.
came up today actually at work. One of the new hires was apparently talking to another coworker, saying, "Damn, I know Anthony hurting. $5 a gallon. You just got that big truck, blah blah blah." And the coworker was like, "No, man, he loves it." He was like, "How?" He was like, "Well, it makes him money." And I
Yeah.
was like, and there it is,
There
right
it
there.
is.
Like, as long as I catch one haul a week, it's paying for
Yeah.
its own gas. Like, you feel me? Like,
Work
and
smart.
And then so far, it's been multiple. So like it's literally paying for itself. at that
And this is what we call an asset.
Right. That's literally it. If I'd have known gas prices were coming to this and I didn't know that I was going to be able to make money off it, I would not be buying a truck.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Simple. But I mean that's always a need because y'all,
Right.
well, both of y'all know that used to be my little hustle at the time as well. And really doing what you did kind of cut out a middleman. Could you have done a lift? Probably could have done a
Probably.
lift. But doing stuff on your own time and setting your prices or whatever, that's a whole different ball.
Oh yeah.
Because, when I was trying to make ends meet at the time, I think my wife she was working, but I forgot what was going on. But I was like, boom, I need to start hustling, do something, do something, make this truck work for me.
Right.
So, you know, it was just simple. Like, literally, I just went and hauled for one person. I was like, they gave me like X amount of money. I was like, oh, this is how much you give me for this? I was like, well, how many other people gonna give me the same type of money or whatever? Right. So I took it and ran with it. And, you know, just when I say that, I just feel like if I'm supposed to be in the upper middle class like you say I am, why do I have to do all this extra stuff? Just to make it, just to, you know, make sure I'm okay, just to have
hell,
extra.
more like 15 an hour is becoming the new minimum wage for real. Like, they've legitimately almost made that to where
so strong.
It's a...
That's enough, baby. Now it's gonna hurt you. That's enough, baby.
But like, you know how a few years ago it was a big thing. You know, like fast food workers were like $15 an hour, $15 an hour, whatever. Yeah. And they more or less got what they were after. But like, I don't think they realized that, like, okay, so like if you're making $15 an hour, and mind you, most construction, industrial, like serious, you know, decent jobs are starting people off at 15 an hour. Yeah. And now you will have, you know, there's actually an interclass argument as far as like, I don't think you deserve $15 an hour, like, because like, look at all I'm doing, you know, to get this $15 an hour, and you in air conditioning. Well, I mean, I know it gets hot and everything back there, but like, you know, more or less you're still in a conditioned, controlled building. Right. Whereas like, you know, let's say me on road construction, it's 102 outside today. I'm sitting on 115 degree asphalt, and that's cool. Like, you know, like, let it be fresh. You talking about it'll melt the boots off your feet.
Yeah,
so, like, you know what I'm saying? So like, they've kind of started something I don't think they were really ready for, because now you've got everybody else saying, all right, well, if they making that, then we got to be making this. Which thankfully, like I said, you know, some companies have, you know, kind of tried to meet the gap and everything like that. Yeah. But as far as $15 an hour goes now, if you look at the rate of inflation in just the last year, you're talking about like 15 hours, and I know because I started last year making $15 an hour, and it really wasn't getting everything done the way it needed to. I was out there hauling, you feel me? Like, and that's even with, you know, roommate help. And so it's the inflation and everything, being high class, like let's say you're above the reach of the bracket, the taxing and all that hurting you. Like, it's strange because it's almost like, I understand, because like some of them do walk around with that sense of entitlement and everything, but it's like they're walking around with it for the wrong reasons, because like you feel like you're comfortable and secure or whatever because you ain't ever had to worry and whatnot. But like at the same time, like, do you appreciate that? Like, do you understand that, like, outside of that bubble reality, you can't just throw money at the problem, blah, blah, blah. Are you even prepared mentally for something like that? And I've literally seen it. I've seen people fall from, like, let's say they get cut off or whatever, like, for whatever reason the situation changes where they go from high class to low class. People lose it, like, over that, because they had no idea that things work like that, because since they were born, it's literally at the touch of a button, a phone call, you know, let me open this app, send some cash over, blah, 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 this, that, and third. And then now when you put them in real world conditions, their mind is not there. It's not all the way there, which is why, like, this is another thing where I said that bubble. I feel like because I've seen been around all classes and had multiple walks of life and everything, when I look at somebody who's never had it hard, doesn't really know what struggle is, or like, and I understand big money comes with big problems, but like at the same time, if you have more money, you have the ability to at least begin to try to, you know, work a problem out. But when you don't, and let's say you grow up low class, you're tested by the world continuously, every day, every single day. And then you reach the point to where, like, you know, I find you pick your head up after the struggle, after the grind, and you like, I made all that ground. I don't want to say you earned it, but you came by it in a more solid way. Yeah. Like, to me, it makes, to grind and go through the forging and the process of like really coming up like that. Yeah. I feel like you more earned it than somebody who was born and like legitimately has not had to worry for anything in their life. You know what I'm saying? So like when I see people that grew up high class and everything like that, oh, he's such a nice person. It's really, 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 really easy to be nice and have a smile on your face all the time, if you go home or you pick up your phone, check your account, and you see in 5, 6, 7 digits in your account, bro, like, so easy to be a good person.
Yes,
and so, like, when I see, I know it because I've lived it. Like, you feel me? And so, like, to be down in the lower class, when you meet somebody that's humble, that's really nice and really worldly, and know that they've been through it, you know what I'm saying, and they are still like that personable, you know, open, kind, good vibe person, I respect that more. You know what I'm saying? Because they earned that good character. Like it's so much more difficult to come up than it is to, and well, I mean, I guess it's a long fall from the top too, but like, you know what I'm saying? But like, you still earned, you know, that good positioning to me. And I respect that more. Like, I respect somebody that from the ground up built and is now this, instead of they were born and like, you literally, here you go. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, I don't know, man. That high class thing, like I said, I'm not a hater. I'm not an envier or anything like that. It's just like, please appreciate the status that you have. And it seems like instead of appreciation, you see more entitlement and more snobbery and more, you know, turn up your nose. Because like, the job I have now, I come across a lot of very fortunate people. You know what I'm saying? Like, celebrities even, and it's just like. Not very far outside these gates that I have to, you know, get checked at and everything to go through. You know, you got people that like the sprinkler heads in your yard. If a person in low class could pull all them up and sell them back, that they got a new house payment. You feel me? Like, you know what I'm saying? Your irrigation system is somebody's whole house. You feel me? Like I service a yard that has $1 million landscape.
Wow.
$1 million, and that's just the main part, not everything else. You talking about a 50, 60 foot tall, long waterfall, like rock slide waterfall, surrounded by all types of plants and everything like that. That landscape is literally 2 or 3 houses. Good houses. You feel me? So it's just like, it's hard to not see how, you know, that bubble protects you. It's got to be solid for you to not be able to see that, like, you spent $1 million on your yard. That's your yard. That ain't even in your house. That's not your house, which is also more than $1 million. Like, you know what I'm saying? But like, on your yard. And you play, like, and this customer also like prepays for everything. So like every service we have, every little thing, amenity that we do, they prepay for it. And you know, we're talking about one treatment is somewhere around $200. And we show up 8 rounds, and then we also do fire ant bait, pesticides, and all that stuff. So you're looking at, you spent $5,000-$6,000 on yard spray. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what that is.
Wrong business, bro.
I'm telling you. And so, which is what I like my job. I appreciate, like I said, I appreciate my job. But it's just wild to me, like, you know, that, you know, that bubble is so bulletproof, worry-proof, concern-proof. Like, I mean, and then it's like, I don't know, just hearing them talk about just simple issues, it grinds me the wrong way. It grinds my gears, because it's just like,
you know, those are just inconveniences.
Right, those are just inconveniences. If that had happened to me, I'd been done for.
Yeah.
Like, you feel me? Like, my car went down and I couldn't get car parts, and that was my livelihood. Like, I gotta come out of pocket to pay for somebody to give me a ride. I gotta come out of, you know what I'm saying? Like, so my spending went up because I didn't have a form of transportation or whatever. And thankfully, you know, I did make enough and handle myself financially well enough to like still barely get by. But like at the same time, when you have somebody that's like, you could just go get another one.
It's like, I don't have to go get another one,
sir. Sir.
It's that privileged mentality.
It's
boy.
crazy,
like,
man.
Cause, you know, I remember getting this house or whatever, you know, they was like, you need X amount of money to get this house. I went and got the X amount of money. And then it was like, oh, well, we still short such amount. I'm like, wait a minute, you told me I only need this amount.
Right.
Yeah, but I think we calculated wrong. It might be a little more. They're like, yeah, can somebody give you a gift? I was like, a gift? What's that? They was like, yeah, can somebody gift you the money that you need to do? I'm like, yeah. I was like, I don't have those lifelines.
Right, on the spot like that? I don't know.
Like, I went and got the money that
Is
you
it
asked
the
me to
15th
get.
yet?
Like, I was like, I literally went and got the money that you asked me to get, and this is what I had.
Well, hell, you saw that when I went and bought the truck.
Yeah, that was an ordeal. That was an ordeal. But it's funny when you see things like that. Like when you're told this is the amount you need, you get that amount. Buy the dollar, buy the cent.
What you said.
Right. Then you come there. Oh, it's a little more than what we thought.
Sorry, but you
Sounds like
have
a you
400 more.
Right.
Like,
Right. It's like a you problem.
That's your
problem.
Right. But I mean, anywho, just like I said, just the same with his situation. It was to a point where I was just like, no, I can't get nobody to gift this to me. I just went to figure something out.
Right.
And I did figure something out, but it was just like, just to see that mind state, like, oh, you don't just have somebody to just gift you $5,000, like, no.
You got a couple months we can stretch.
Right.
Right.
You can't say get some payments, and
Right.
most situations like that, especially when you try to get a house, when you're making a big purchase like that, they're not taking no payments because they like, nah, we need that right here.
And I mean, honestly, that's a shit. Like they'll take that as a show of instability. Whereas, like if you're supposed to, if you step it right and you taking that big step of getting this house, you need to be on point with everything, like no hiccups, no nothing. Like I understand, like there's, cause like it was more of a thing years ago. Now it seems like it goes one way or the other. But you used to see pending like in the yard for say like under contract or whatever stuff like that. And they'd be sitting in the yard for months. You know what I'm saying? And then like sometimes that under contract sign will come right back up, and that's where the hiccups and stuff like that happen. And like it seems like these days, I feel like it's more streamlined. It's either you getting it or you're not. Like, and most often now with the market it is in this particular situation, it's more often like a lot of people are like, oh, okay, no, we thought we were ready, maybe not.
Right. Most often now it's like, no, we need to go ahead and have it. The market is up, and this is a side where I can't wait to go down, so I can go ahead and do what I got to do.
When do y'all think it'll burst? When do y'all think that bubble will burst?
This is one thing that I've noticed. So many vast plots of land that were bought years ago that were supposed to be subdivisions and sat just vacant for years are now being fully developed, and there's not just those, they're making more and then fully developing them on the spot. So with all these houses being built, with the market the way it is right now, as soon as they have so many houses that they can't even put people in, the prices are going to start popping. And like I said, they're throwing entire neighborhoods now up in a matter of a couple of months. You feel me? Like a matter of a couple months. And honestly, it's another thing I started looking at. Like, don't go straight for these newer houses. Because like if you look at like some like let's say mid 2000s houses and stuff like that, where it takes probably 6-8 months to build one house. You feel me? Like they take their time on it, they get the plot of land, blah blah blah, as a process. Those houses were built to stand for 20, 30, 40, 50 years. These new houses I've been looking. These new houses have 10-year warranties on them.
Wow.
You feel me? Like
really?
Yes, 10 years. And so as quick as they're going up, that's about how long they last. You feel me? Like you get a couple hard storms, a couple hard. You know what I'm saying? Like and I'm saying keep your eyes open. I'm telling you, don't jump on these.
That's wild.
Like unless it's something that you about to get in, maybe spruce up a little bit and flip it. That's the only. They literally.
And these like brick homes?
No,
they're not even brick.
All these houses you see flying up, they're just bare bone.
Okay,
some wood, thin layers, insulation, drywall, done. That's
like the houses in our old neighborhood, those took time to build. Like my pop's house, mom's and pop, those took time to build. But like you said, the ones you see now, like I literally seen the sign, like it's gonna be houses here. Saw the house, okay, they started to build it up. Like that thing was done within maybe a week and a half.
You know what? No, that makes sense.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Literally give it another 8 or so months, and they're gonna have too many houses. Like they're not gonna be able to put people in them, so they're gonna have to start coming down.
Oh, bro, they finessing, bro.
It's a game.
Finessing.
I'm telling you, because like you got
real life monopoly.
And then think about the market that's going on right now. And the crazy thing is people are flying into these houses as soon as they're coming up. Like there's a couple literally right off my street that literally weren't open for a month before each and every one of them got somebody in them. And now anybody who's in charge or banking off of these developments, they are making a killing right now, because you're getting somebody to pay, like in this market, $300,000-$400,000 for a 3.2. and it's only gonna last them 10 years. You feel me? So like, so I have to assume that the materials that you are building these houses with are not of the same quality of the ones that have the longer warranties and stuff like that. So like, you're getting off on these cheaper materials, easier process to throw up and everything, and charging the same amount that you did for this brick house that was on some acres, blah blah blah. This that. And you talking about? Most of these houses are sitting on 0.2, 0.3 acre, like barely a front yard, barely a backyard. You can sneeze on your neighbor's house. Like, you feel me? And so you charging somebody $300-400 grand for that, and it costs you maybe $100 grand in materials to build it.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what some of these people's banks look like, bro. Like, you feel me? Like, this is crazy.
Because I mean, just like, at least I know in my area, like, rentals are going up higher than they ever been before. So, you know, it used to be like, okay, you see a house, you can either do rent or own or whatever have you. But like, to your point, with them building them up so, you know, fast or whatnot, with them having 10-year warranties, it's easier to get somebody to come in for $2,300 for rental, you know, to come in and rent that house. And with that warranty, all right, boom, we got you out, make some fixes, get the next person in. You know what I mean? That's where it's at right now. But you know, like I said,
that's
now
lucrative as hell, man.
Very. Like, based on what he's saying, it's very lucrative because, like, at the end of the day, if you're buying a house and you're paying that same amount, the house has a longer warranty on it. Like, depending on when the house was built, it has a longer warranty on it. Like my house, built 97. So it's been up for a while.
You can't even tell.
You can't even tell. I ain't even know.
But just, I
until
mean,
you just said that. I ain't know.
I mean, I knew the establishment had been open for because that neighborhood up the road is pretty popular. I can't remember.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Right here, but they've been around for a minute, and so like I knew this neighborhood was back here. But like looking at these houses, you can't tell they were built in the 90s.
Right, but like I said, but that's just coming to that point because a lot of houses that are being sold now, they're going for that amount, 21 to 2,300 or whatever. So with that being said, you know, it's easier. Oh, I'm just gonna rent this out to you and get the amount out, get for someone that's been in the house for 25 to 30 years, and it's easier to get them in, get them out. Boom. All right, you out of there, and let me put this warranty on here, fix it up a little bit, get the next person in, rotational door.
Right.
And that's where they're at now. So it's just it's a chess game, man. That's all it is.
That's
man.
why I'm just waiting the same way I waited years for my truck. I'm waiting on that. In the meantime, I'm just
Stack, bro.
Straight up. As soon as that bubble busts.
Hey, facts.
Acres.
Olivia, how you feel about that? You thinking?
She really thinks.
She put the thinking
She
face
legit
on.
put the.
Right, she really did.
I don't think I have any thoughts on that.
My
You
girl.
so beautiful.
My girl.
You so beautiful.
Yeah. We gonna be doing this Airbnb business? No. Well, I'm gonna do it anyway. I'm doing it either way.
See what, man? She's on the
Oh,
spot.
now you sad?
She don't like that. She
Okay.
put on the spot.
All right, my bad. That was too much pressure. Too much pressure.
I don't know. I will say that being a part of and around high class did have its, like I said, there's pros and cons on both sides. It is a level of comfort that you feel. It is a level of, you know, it is a level of security that you feel. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, you coming home to a nice house, and then, you know, especially as a kid, you not really, at that time, I was honestly just making money. I wasn't even spending it. I mean, well, had no responsibilities.
Right, no,
And so, like, I will say that it does feel nice. But in that same token, like, when I was doing that well, I'm always like, and I guess maybe this is just why, you know, wealth took its time making its way to me. Is because, like, if I got it like that and somebody around me is not, you know, not quite there, I got you. You feel me? Like, that's, to me, that's being a decent person, good neighbor, good friend, good all of that. And in that class, I was still the same person, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't say better person, but, like, you know, I was able to give more, so therefore I gave more, you know what I'm saying? And it's just wild because, like, I had peers and everything, same class, same walk and all that stuff, and all they could do was talk shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, they, each other, the lower class, people they thought didn't fit in, outcasts, blah, 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 this, and the third, and honestly, it doesn't stop in school. Like, that same personality doesn't do anything but get harder and stronger as they grow up, and it's just like, I'm not trying to be around none of that. Like, you feel me? Like,
once you hit 25, once you hit 25, you're gonna be what you're gonna be.
Well, so
ongoing.
it is. The theory is that once you turn 30, that is the person that you are more or less setting to be for the rest of your life. Like, if you're not already established at the personality, like that's when that transformation starts to happen. Is around 30. Is like now you're moving into the rest of your life. Is what I've been told. But and it feels that way because I'm telling you, I hit 30 and it was just like,
I think I had a reverse effect when I hit 30. It seemed like a lot of shit had simultaneously unlocked and started to make sense.
That's what I was talking about.
Yeah, okay, that is what you, okay.
So this wasn't quite where I thought I'd be at 30. So let's go ahead and do some things.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's exactly what. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh man, I was wilding.
Wilding, bro. Like or just wilding, or maybe in my case, I just wasn't taking it seriously.
Right. I mean, because it hadn't sunk in yet. Like you were literally, it felt like, I guess technically you were, for some people, you know, you grow at different, you develop at different, you know, speeds and whatever.
Right.
But like for a lot of people, I guess in the 20s, you're still growing. And so like you're not, while you're growing and everything's happening to you at this accelerated rate, because I swear it seems the older you get, the quicker time goes.
Yes.
And you're not able to really take in fully, you know, what everything is, how everything works, because you got so much stuff just coming at you at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I feel like once you hit 30, you're I don't know, like at least for me, my personal experience, like your maturity, your awareness, situational awareness, I guess, is just like opened up. Because like, I mean, I would hope for the next person that at 30 you wake up on 30, you know what, I did okay. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you know, for a lot of people, they wake up at 30 and like, we got some work to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I'll be one. Yeah.
And what I feel is another thing is more money comes easier to people with more money is what I've noticed.
Yeah.
And it seems like when you have enough to actually put somewhere and like fund something and like get something out of your investment or whatever, and this is kind of what bothers me about some people that I've heard talk about, you know, getting it, is like they talk about how easy it is. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like, oh man, it's nothing but, you know, did this, did that, blah, blah, this, that, and the third. And, you know, they talking about it like it wasn't nothing. And it's just like, that would not work for me. Like, you know what I'm saying? I literally can't do some of the things you just said. It's just like, a person from the bottom, they have to do so much more to get just that much. You know what I'm saying? Where like, you know, a person with a whole bunch of money is like, oh, well, I guess I'll invest in that, you know, see how that goes. And then boom, they turn into 250, 300K profit off of that business within a couple years. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like that easy. You know what I'm saying?
Watch, rinse, and repeat.
Send a lawyer over to a spot, you know, buy it, set it up, blah, blah, this, that, and the third, boom, done. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Some of these franchise holders, that's how they start. They get enough for one, get that one, and use that money, that the profit and everything that comes off that, get the other one. Use that, and now you have two to make profit off. Get the next one. You know what I'm saying? It's just happening quicker and quicker. You know what I'm saying? Whereas you got somebody that's starting nowhere near the means to, you know, start up a franchise. The distance between that amount of money is so much greater. That, you know, the less fortunate that you are, and it's just like, to me, I've always been like, if I'm, let's say I'm a millionaire, that's enough money that literally 1 million people die not earning $1 million. So for so like, if I have $1 million, no one in my area has any sort of basic needs, because we talking about, all right, so a normal household for me, let's say rent $900 and you'll probably pay $300-400 in utilities maybe, you know what I'm saying? And so we'll call it $1,200. 1,200 times 12, that's 24.
Something like, around that ball.
And no, 144. So that is 14,000. Blah 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 blah. And so 14,000. I'm a millionaire. Not even gonna try to mentally do how many times 14,000 goes into $1 million, but I can literally pay for your whole life, and it's honey bun money. You feel me? For a year.
Somebody said that. I've heard that phrase. I can't remember.
I mean, well,
where that was.
Gucci started it a long time ago.
Gucci, yeah, that's exactly what, Gucci.
But like, if you, I mean, think about that, because like you talk, all right, let's separate 14 from 100,000. That means that I literally could pay for almost 10 people's lives with 140,000 for a year, and that is not even a tenth of my $1 million.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like, and so I don't understand when you have millionaires in a family and their family members are still more or less trying to, scrape stuff together. I'm not trying to say throw your money at people, but at the same time, if you see that somebody isn't, like, you see them trying, but they just, for whatever reason, can't seem to get it, take a year off, bro. Like, here, like, save up, stack up. You trying to get a house, use this year to stack up and get you your house. You feel me? And you didn't touch, like I said, a tenth of what you got going on.
I think that you wildin'. Chill out. But I think that people that's in that position that has $1 million, they I think they have this fear of, people will take that opportunity the wrong way.
That does happen.
It does.
It does happen, and I get that, but it's just like family, people that you grew up with, blah blah. This
that that's not going to go trick it off. I think.
I don't understand that.
Yeah, and because if I was in that position, honestly, if I'm gonna give however many people that 144,000, that 140,000, I don't think it would really matter not how they spend it, because I just have a good heart.
Right.
I'm gonna do that.
Right.
I'm gonna do that anyway.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
you have a good heart. I hate to say it. Fuck having a good heart.
It's these days,
but I get it
that way sometimes.
But like Tony said, the people that that's not gonna do it, that has plans of whatever they whatever they're trying to do, because really only thing that's missing is opportunities, the resources, the opportunity, to make it happen. So that's why I say in regards. But yeah, anybody else, that's just that I know that's gonna trick it off. I'm probably not gonna do it.
What I'm saying, I'm broke.
Yeah, absolutely, I'm broke.
I get you lunch.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like,
you'll eat.
Right,
you will eat. I promise you.
You will. I'll give you some gas money, whatever. But
yeah,
you know what I'm saying. This ain't no regular operation.
Absolutely.
Not your ATM, blah blah, this, that, the third.
Absolutely.
But like family members and day ones, that's. To me, I will never understand that. I will never understand. Like, let's say, because most of these millionaires don't stop at one. You're talking about 2, 3, 4, 5, and they got family members that are living in neighborhoods like that aren't even like. I'm not. This is a nice neighborhood, but I'm saying in neighborhoods that are lower than this, barely make it.
Yeah.
I don't get that. Like, it just does not compute. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you're supposed to be like, oh damn, you living bad? Go get you buy them a new house or nothing. But like, you could at least have a conversation and talk to them like what you need.
What's your
what's
plans?
going on? Like what do you have? What's your functions? You know what I'm saying? Like, and then just decide whether or not you want to gauge and proceed. Whether or not you want to gauge and proceed with giving them whatever they might need.
It's been an hour. Yeah, it's been an hour. Oh, okay. Good. No, I got that was going down. That was going to kick up. So I'm on. Okay. Raise that around. We can go ahead and close.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and keep going. Okay. Bet. So, yeah, like I said, I personally don't believe that there's now in this day and age. I don't personally believe there's high, middle, and low.
No, they there.
Well, I say now in this day and age. Yeah. Everything's because everybody's getting hit in some way, but it's like what you have left over, which comes down to have and have nots. And
I get what you're saying. Like I will say, in these days, middle class is becoming very, very scarce.
Yeah,
it's either you got it or you don't.
Or you don't. Exactly.
And so the have not. I know.
Okay. I see that. Cool. But yeah, I kind of think that's where it's gonna go to, going forward, and which I do believe that in all things there's always an opportunity in something when it comes to that. Now it seems as though the lower class now have to use a little bit more brain power to create different opportunities, financial opportunities now,
right?
Which I'm starting to like. I have a god sister. I won't put her name out, but her, just her story alone. Single mom. At the time, single mom, 3 kids, been in prison. I mean, big girl prison too. Big girl prison, and but the sweetest person.
Yeah.
And now she not only does she fix credit, which I've trusted her to do that, to help that with me, and she's been helping me a lot. She's also a tax prepper. for her town. She's
yeah.
Thank
you.
If y'all, matter of fact, if y'all if any of our viewers live in the Virginia, Richmond area, Richmond, Virginia, definitely tap into her.
That's Virginia.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, for some reason Richmond just solidified my own.
That's Virginia.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Y'all in the DMV area, yeah, she's a tax prepper out there. She's doing her thing, but just from her story, just how she just growing up and progressed. Man, she's doing and you gotta think if lower class was a person, that would have been her.
Right.
That is a walking lower class, citizen, and she's had, of course, she had time to, formulate something to get her out, to get ahead and make sure, stuff like that don't happen again, especially for our kids. Now she got, now she has these two, income producing opportunities.
Right.
And she's even gone far to start to employ people. Yeah, absolutely. So that's why I say, big claps for her.
Flowers.
Yeah, big flowers for her. So, that's why I say I do believe that it breeds the opportunity for people that come from less than to now, of course, in coupled with COVID, since everything had to slow down, now it's giving more people opportunity to formulate plans and formulate strategies, and like I said, really the only thing that's really missing is opportunity and resources and things like that. But like I said, there's still hope. I believe there's still hope for people to for what they say, get it out the mud,
right?
And just figure out good things for their descendants when they pass.
Third. Well,
I'm
here to tell you that work was definitely worth it.
Absolutely.
Like you said, I feel like thankfully the shutdown did give a lot of people time to sit down and look at themselves and restructure some things and realize all right, so when this opens back up, this is how we proceed forward and stuff like that. And I've seen it. They came out of the quarantine or whatever and hit the ground running, and that's exactly what I did. Hell, honestly, a lot of stuff didn't stop for me in quarantine, but once things did open up, I was like, all right, we can start capping on this. And about that time we started really hitting them halls and everything hard.
Right.
And I don't know, like I said, I feel like the higher class could do a better job of being more situationally aware.
I agree.
It's a tall order. I get that. It's a very tall order. Yeah. But at the same time, if anybody happens to be looking that's more fortunate, hey, bro, look at the circumstances. You know what I'm saying, and understand where a lower class or hell, at this point, even an upper middle class could be struggling, whereas you that has multiple almost effortless streams of it. If you sat in your house for a week, you're still making money.
Yeah.
You feel me? And then you got people that like us. That's Monday through Friday. I have to work.
Yeah.
If I miss this day, that's almost $200 off my check next week. So we can't do that. It's not an option anymore. Yeah. But that's my closing thing. I would like for more fortunate people to be more aware of either A, how good they have it, or B, how you could possibly. I'm not saying to be even charitable, just if you made it, let's say you actually grinded and made it to the top out of your circumstances, share the info, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't even have to be putting them on your job. It's just all right, well, if you really about that, this is how I got here, you know what I'm saying? Start with this program that you signed up for, start with this class that you signed up for, start, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't necessarily have to be trading money or, favors and stuff like that. If you just talk. You understand me? It's wild that people just don't seem to see it like that.
Yeah. Any closing statements, Matt?
No, I think I've said what I've had to say, man. I'm good. Olivia, do you have anything to say? No? All right.
For 2 seconds, quiet.
But,
just to kind of end out and kind of piggyback on Anthony before we run out of time. So, you know, what he was saying as far as like, you know, if you're in a certain status, if you're in a high status as you are, be knowledgeable of what's going on. But going back to what you said before, it's different from you making it out in the mud to get to that point and you being privileged and not knowing the other side. Right. And, you know, with me saying that, you know, it's easier said than done because it's like if you don't know, then you don't know. Now, you do have some that know, they know the struggle, they know what you're going through.
Right.
They sit there like, man, I was there, and they don't help. So
I mean,
it's a weird
thing. That's like a lot of the celebrities and icons and stuff like that look real hard at what they're doing because like a lot of these people setting up cookouts, barbecues, fundraisers, and all that stuff. Yeah. All that is tax write-offs, man. They're helping themselves, helping you. You feel me? Right. And to me, the most help is setting up entire establishments that, like, you know, A, can either employ people and get them money, or B, can make the community life easier, like different services. Because, like, I think I touched base on this last season. I was watching this documentary of this lady that, you know, almost used religion as a stepping stone to get to her success and set up not just a ministry but a society even. Okay. Whereas in like it was doctors, mechanics, and everything like that was all this this establishment. Now, I'm not gonna, I don't want to, you know, drop names and all that stuff.
Good for food.
You know, oh yeah, and for sure. Like it goes deep. But like if you're in the right mind, a system like that is so beneficial. And what bothers me is that we praise and hold in high regard so many people who have the same abilities to do stuff like that, but they're out here, you know, let me stop at McDonald's, get $100 worth of, you know, cheeseburgers and hand them out, and hey, I gave back to the community. You fed however many people for that one moment. Yeah. They're leaving this event to go back to the rest of their lives, which is probably not, for some of them, not even as good as that $1 burger that they just ate.
And they will dookie it out.
It's gone before morning. You feel me? And so, like, to me, and like, I mean, I'm not even really chasing extreme wealth. Like, I want to get to a point where I'm comfortable and those around me are also comfortable. Yeah. It doesn't necessarily have to be extreme wealth, but I will say that if I ever happen to somehow fall into it, that's the type of mentality that I'm going into it as. Like, so, all right, so if I'm in this community that is less fortunate or whatever, what can I set up to make this community's livelihood, their way of life easier? You feel me? And that's simple as a pharmacy or something. Well, I mean, that's not very simple, but like, you know, it's just small mom and pop stores and stuff like that like, if I know that I can go to the store and buy a 99-cent packet of muffins, that means that I can go somewhere and get that same mix in bulk for cheaper and sell it for you know what I'm saying, a competitive price that's going to, you know what I'm saying, like people stop at all these yogurt stores and cupcake shops and all that stuff, dropping big money. You talking about Cold Stone is charging $7 for a scoop. Like, you feel me? And that's without toppings. You know what I'm saying?
I like it, which is small.
Right, you feel me? And so, like, if I know that, like, you know, I can make something that's as good, maybe better in the same range for X amount of dollars less than they do, I can sell it for that much less than them, and I'm still making money. Yeah. And so, like, I don't understand why that mentality hasn't somehow branched out into more people, because, like, if you think about it, this one person has the capability to set that up. You get a group of people, like Akon. Akon went over there, and I understand there's a couple of discrepancies that some people try to throw at him, but, like, at the same time, he still did set up the society and everything that he promised to bring to that area of the world. Yeah. Like, it is legitimately, I'm not sure if anybody's watched videos on it, you're talking about almost a real-life Wakanda this man has set up in Africa. Their own electrical system, their own infrastructure, their own everything. Yeah. I mean, it took him and, you know, a collective group of investors and everything, but, like, that's the type of stuff that we should be on. You feel me? Like, that's over there. We can do that right here. We have more resources to make that. You know what I'm saying? So, like, that's a whole other conversation. So, like I said, I'm not hating Indian or nothing, but I'm just saying if I had it, it'd be different. Like, it would look a whole lot different than that. Yeah.
I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm gonna leave it alone. So,
Okay, off script.
yeah, oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I got you.
But I think we all good. We can end it here. I think it was a good episode.
Yeah.
I even put it up there with my crew. They not doing anything no more, but y'all, come and chill with us if y'all need to, man. Thoughtful Narcissist, man. I feel like this was a Thoughtful Narcissist.
Distinguished legacy. We need you
Right,
out here too, bro.
we
We need you too.
Y'all know where we at.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We bros.
Right. But I mean, we'll end it here, man. Like I do think this was a thought-provoking episode. We actually got down to, we've been in both places, so we got down to, the lower class versus the upper middle. Now, granted, none of us have actually been, up there, but hey, it is what it is.
We've seen little glimpses of what it could be like. Yeah. We've had a little taste of what it could be like. I'm telling you, it is nice.
Right. But I mean, to end it here, man, this has been another episode of The Corner.
Oh yeah.
Season 4, episode 35.
35, man.
This has been high class. But we're going to end it out as usual. So you got me, you got your boy K1, and you
got Mac and Olivia.
I got Anthony.
And this has been another episode of The Corner. Y'all stay tuned next week for a bonus episode. We will be taking a break, but I have a bonus episode stood up, and y'all be able to get that episode, and I'll send, all the info out shortly. But definitely thank y'all for joining us. Thank you for sitting down with us and being a part of the conversation.
Oh,
Y'all have a great night. Peace.
As always, cover your six. Shalom.
For sure.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I make it beat, by the way.